Hello and welcome back. Eddie Radosevich, George Stoia here from Owen Field. A 24-13 victory for Oklahoma tonight. And George, welcome in to the instant reaction. Unbelievable. I think this has been a long time coming that we've been wanting to sit here for this type of instant reaction. Oklahoma does play extremely well, though, on Saturday night. A dominant defensive performance. John Mateer just unbelievable with his legs. Ran the ball, 19 times tonight? Yes. Just overall, let's get into it. It was a very, very complete victory, even despite leaving a little bit out there on the field.
This is a game, I'm going to say something very obvious.
Okay.
This is a game OU 1,000% loses a year ago.
Sure.
And for a variety of reasons. One, not being able to overcome some of the big mistakes, right? Especially in the second half. Sure. The Satania muffed punt, missed field goal, Jaron Kanik drops the wide open touchdown pass, all of those things. But also, the defense was lights out. Phenomenal. They played a fantastic football game. Sure, they give up the big touchdown run that kind of sucks the momentum out of the stadium there to start the second half, but they were amazing all night long, and the offense did enough to win, and I think that they found a lot of success. The opening drive, they had 3 great drives. The opening drive to start the game, the drive right before half, which really gave Oklahoma all the momentum heading into halftime, felt like the game was in control. And then obviously that 10-minute drive. I know they had the other touchdown drive in the, I think it was the third quarter.
Right.
But the 10-minute drive, not even, I don't think it was 10 minutes, but 8-minute drive, whatever it was, that sucked the clock out in the fourth quarter. I mean, Eddie, when's the last time OU had an offense that could do that? Because even you think back to the Jeff Lebby days, there's a lot of complaints of, man, they can't ever run the clock out. And they just totally, put it down on Michigan, and it was impressive all the way around.
Very, very impressive performance. We'll get into plenty more with the defense, that offensive line. Bill Beatenbow gets a game ball after the game on Saturday night. First, let us tell you about our good friends over at Lucy.co/SoonerScoop. All you got to do is go to Lucy.co/SoonerScoop. Use the promo code SoonerScoop to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. They have the mint, the wintergreen,
Espresso.
the espresso. Don't want to get that wrong. Plenty of options, plenty of different varieties that you can try, different sizes with the, I think 3-4 different milligram for your liking. All you got to do is go to lucy.co/SoonerScoop and use the promo code SoonerScoop to get 20% off your first order. Lucy does have a 30-day refund policy, and here comes something that we need to tell you, something that we have to tell you. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Thank you to Lucy. Let's get into the defensive performance, because I think from top to bottom, this was maybe one of the more physical games Oklahoma played. You could talk about, whether it be the cornerbacks and getting youth out there at the outside, and especially with Gentry Williams going out, missing most of the second half. Devon Jordan, Cortland Guillory was unbelievable, but I think you have to start with a defensive line that we had talked about all week. They were going to have this test today. They certainly passed it.
And it felt like every guy kind of had a moment, especially on the interior. Dominic Williams, he might have played his best game as a Sooner. He was fantastic up front, whether it was taking on double teams or making tackles. He was awesome. Jaden Jackson was really good. I thought David Stone, also another guy who played his best game as a Sooner. He came up with multiple plays. They were awesome. I know R. Mason Thomas maybe hasn't shown up in the stat sheet like some people want him to. He was really good tonight. Yeah. He was very assignment sound. Didn't let too many things on the edge get out of control. Taylor Wine, I thought, played. Marvin Jones Jr., I thought he
had a couple really big plays tonight.
He was great. I thought they were really good up front. I thought the linebackers. I know you said defensive line.
No,
the linebackers were fantastic tonight. Owen Heineke. Where are the Owen Heineke haters out there? I know you're out there. You're in the YouTube comments. Yeah. You're on the message boards. White walk-on dude. He was the best player on the field for Oklahoma on defense tonight in a lot of ways. I don't want to take away from Cortland Guillory, because I thought he's a close second. He was fantastic as well. But, man, just all 3 levels from the defense, I thought that Oklahoma really, took it to Michigan. And again, other than the big touchdown run, completely shut down that offense.
And I think the one thing that you look at this box score here as we're kind of unfolding it, Owen Heineke, 7 tackles, leads the team. 6 tackles for Kip Lewis and Peyton Bowen each. Kobe McKenzie with 5. Robert Spears-Jennings with 5. Dominic Williams, as you said, with 5. Kendall Daniels showed up, made a couple big plays
hit,
early.
Oh, the big hit was awesome. I also wanted Peyton Bowen. Peyton Bowen, that might have been the best game of his career. Again, you just had a lot of guys that played extremely well on that side of the ball, and Gentry got a little banged up. I was watching him on the sideline. I think it was in the third quarter. I think he's going to be fine. I think he may have.
He was trying. You'll see the video here. He was trying to run around a little bit with some of the trainers.
I think it was a groin, if I had to guess, the way he was getting stretched out. I don't think it's anything serious. It wasn't his shoulder. That's all I knew, and that's a good thing for him. So we'll see with him. But Cortland Giller, man, they got a dog in him at corner, and it's just amazing how many guys, Eddie. It's like every defensive series, there's a new group of 11 almost out there, and that's just an impressive amount of depth that they have.
It's unbelievable. Let's move over to the offensive side. You got to start with John Mateer, right?
Yep.
Another unbelievable performance for him. They missed a little bit. He had the interception early. He was able to capitalize, though, every time that Oklahoma really needed to put a drive together. And that's something that I think you do take something out of this tonight, the way that they were able to put drives together, the scoring drive in the third quarter, and then obviously the fourth quarter drive that just kind of sucked the life out of the game. 10 minutes. Unbelievable drive. Maybe one of the better drives that Oklahoma's had in the last 3 years, certainly in the Brent Venables era. Ben Arbuckle had an excellent night.
Yeah, it was. That drive was incredible, but you nailed it, Eddie. Everybody's going to talk about John Mateer, rightfully so. Everybody's going to talk about the offensive line. I thought that they played extremely well. We'll get to them. Ben Arbuckle had a masterful game plan. The opening script on the first drive of the game was awesome, and they made some great plays on that drive, but there was play calls throughout the game that you're like, man, like they've been missing that. And I think of the one where I think it was
a swing pass to Javonte Barnes.
Yeah,
how about Javonte Barnes too?
Hey, he was fantastic, and this is his type of game, right? Physical game, running downhill, and the lanes opened up a lot more today for him. But I just thought there were some really good play calls. I mean, the 2-minute drive, right before half, awesome play calls. The quarterback run game, some of the counter stuff they ran. I mean, that's just beautiful football. And, Arbuckle, I thought just was really good. And they've got some stuff they can be better on. They missed on some things. The interception that Mateer threw, that's probably a touchdown if he hits him. Will Huggins in stride there, or at least a big play. And they missed on a couple others. And, the one thing I'll say, though, Eddie, Arbuckle is great, and John Mateer's a dude, man. They got a dude. He was making plays left and right. The scramble and toss to Satania down the sideline, that was a massive play. I think that was third down. Sets up, I think that was the touchdown to go up 21.
Yeah, that was the third quarter touchdown that John ran in himself.
I mean, that's an unbelievable play. He was super tough, and even plays where maybe he's not, getting 10 yards, he's getting 2, 3, 4, whatever, and falling forward. And man, you just have to feel really good about that side of the ball, because they're only going to get better, right? Like one thing, when I was telling you this walking out, because we were talking about some of the mistakes that were made tonight, don't forget, this is only Oklahoma's second game, and they just beat a really good opponent in Michigan. I don't know what Michigan's going to end up doing this year, but that's a talented football team. And OU played pretty sloppy, and they still won the game pretty handily.
Yeah.
So you have to feel kind of good about that.
That's the way. I mean, you almost feel really good about it because of the way that they won, because they won by 11, and you feel like they left a lot out there. There were some miscues tonight that kind of made you think twice a little bit. I think the crowd thought twice a little bit. I want to talk about the crowd, but we got to talk about the offensive line, because you had 4 of the 5 guys that started the game tonight first starts of the year.
Yeah.
And they were incredible. Michael Fasusi, Fabechi Wiwu, Derek Simmons on the other side, Jake Makailu at center tonight. Michael at center tonight.
Get it right.
I'm going to get it right because he started. Heath Zaida returns to the lineup tonight. Very, very dominant performance for a group that I think we had a lot of questions about. And it seemed like towards the end of the game, they were the ones that were wearing Michigan out.
I mean, yeah, that drive. I mean, they were running the ball down the field, and they made some big plays through the air too. But the pass protection, I think it was the stat. I think there was only maybe 0 pressures, and they gave up, I think, 2 sacks. But I thought they were like coverage sacks, where just no one's open, and Mateer's trying to make something happen, and it kind of just collapses on him. But they were amazing. Like, and I'll tell you, Eddie, when I saw that was the starting 5 in warmups, I was like, I can't believe they're
doing this.
I mean, we said all week, I was like, surely they're going to start Luke Baklenko and Troy Everett and those guys. they said we're going to play our best 5, or at least the 5 that they think is the best, and no matter if those guys played or not last week. I mean, you talk about 3 guys in Ozida, Fasusi, and Simmons who didn't even play a week ago, and Michael Fasusi.
He's going to be a dog.
Dude, he's unbelievable. A true freshman. I mean, he shut Derek Moore down on the other side of the ball, and it was just he was amazing. And I don't know, man. They might have a group. I'm not saying they're going to go win the Joe Moore Award, sure, but you definitely have to feel good about the group. And that was the big question, right? Entering the game, can Oklahoma handle physicality? I think they took it to Michigan.
They played really, really well, and you have to feel good for Bill Beatenbow. Brent Venables says after the game he got a game ball on Saturday night, and for all in all, for what it was, the magnitude that we had talked about going into this game, everything that surrounded Brent Venables, he was a very happy man after the game, and rightfully so. I think that this was kind of a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a statement by any means, because it's such a long season, and they have to, obviously 10 more games left in the regular season. But I think for the first time in a long time, there's a lot of belief right now in this program.
Yeah, he kind of took a victory lap in the postgame.
He did a little bit. I don't know where some of that stuff was coming from, but because I don't think that anybody has said it. But he used Grayson Miller, who punted tonight, in place of Jacob Ulrich. Pretty good night for the UCO awesome. Former kicker. I thought that there was a very complete team victory tonight, and one that this fan base really needed.
Yeah, and I think one that Brent really needed. I mean, I wrote about it this week. It was the biggest game of Brent's career. Now, moving forward, there's a lot of games that are going to be the biggest game, right? Like, can Oklahoma now use this to, catapult them into, a playoff type appearance, or, compete for an SEC championship? I mean, you look across the league, I think it's kind of open, and again, it's
really good day at the Swamp.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a terrible loss that was. Not as bad as Oklahoma State in Eugene, but anyways, it is open, and Oklahoma, and I told you this too, is like, they got a good quarterback, a really good quarterback. They're gonna have a shot in every game, and they're going to play a lot of games like tonight where it's kind of a barn burner, and you're hoping your defense can hold on and your offense needs a couple more scores to win a game, but you have to feel good if you're Oklahoma. I think that OU left a lot out there. They could play even better, but this is a big program win. I think the fan base, I wasn't down on the field, but it sounded extremely loud. People were bought in. Even late in the game, no one left, obviously. Like, you could tell how much this meant, and now I feel like everybody, and it's not that the monkey's off the back, right? They still have a lot to prove this year. Those guys just talked about it. Hey, 2 years ago, we beat Texas, and everything fell apart. And so I think keeping that together, handling success, all of that's still on the table, but now you kind of can go, okay, like, this team's got something.
And I think that's probably like the biggest thing too, is you found a way to win. You finally got over that hump. And how do you handle success?
And you were able to respond.
Sure.
Like we mentioned, all the miscues, and that's what I meant at the top of the show when I said last year's team obviously doesn't win this game. I don't even know if the team 2 years ago wins this game, because we've seen it under Brent Venables that when they make big mistakes, sometimes they can't recover. They can't, put a game away. They put it away tonight, and some of that, too, is Michigan had some big miscues, and they didn't play very well, and they've got a true freshman quarterback and all that. But to watch what Oklahoma did in that fourth quarter and go down the field, like, that's the part that you got to feel really good about. And even the defense, they had to take over some short fields, and they kept pushing them to field goals. They missed the big field goal in the first half. Michigan did,
I thought time stood still when the kid missed the field goal, because all we had talked about this week,
how good he was,
best kicker in the country, but those are the little things, and I think that, like, for them to be able to capitalize off that, come down, score that touchdown right before halftime, push it out to 14, those are little things that
they weren't doing.
Right.
Yeah.
They just simply weren't doing the last couple of years, and that's where you hope that you can take the confidence, you can take some maturation out of this, and John mentioned it. This is a relatively older team from its leadership standpoint, and that's what's going to make this next few weeks super interesting. You're halfway through September now. You're 2-0. You're headed up to Philadelphia next week against Temple in a game that you should be
Temple.
A 2-0 Temple. I did not realize that they won today.
They beat the hell out of Howard. So
okay, well, God bless Howard for coming. The lights are going to be on for the next year, I guess. But all in all, I think you walk away from this one 24-13 victory, and you have to feel pretty damn good about this. And I think it's a fan base that certainly will appreciate the work that was put in to get this.
Yeah, be happy out there. Celebrate this. It was a year ago that we're sitting here after the Tennessee game, and we've got a million questions. Sure. Jackson Arnold's been benched. Should Seth Luttrell be fired? What's the future of Brent Venables? And now you sit here and you have some good answers about this football team in the other direction. You got a guy at quarterback. Your offensive coordinator is legit to the point where, he keeps doing this. He's going to be a head coach soon, and then we'll worry about that later. But,
that's a bad problem, but a good problem to have.
Right. But then you have a coach in Brent Venables that I think everybody here is truly rooting for. They want this to succeed. And you hear him tonight. I asked him about, what can this mean for recruiting? Because we all know that, and we'll get into the recruiting report on Monday. That's going to be one to listen to. But the amount of guys that were here, and it felt like he was kind of talking to Peyton Houston and Cooper Hackett. He mentioned, you could be an offensive tackle or a quarterback, all this stuff. Like, this is the type of win that if you can build on this season, all of a sudden you can build a great recruiting class. You can have the program, move in the right direction, bring in the right players. Because I do think that this is the most talented roster they've had. I think they have some momentum in recruiting, and I think that this is a win on a national stage that you can really build on. And I don't want to overhype it, right? Because it is week 2, and there's a lot of football left to be played. Michigan could end up being not a very good football team. We don't know. But I do think that you have to feel good if you're an OU fan tonight because there's a lot of positives.
Bryce Underwood and Jay Sean Barnum. I mean, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Dude,
unbelievable.
I know Bryce Underwood was not very good tonight in the passing game. He's going to be really freaking good. And part of the problem is they don't have anybody to throw the ball to.
Sure.
And it really hurt them tonight without Klein, the tight end, number 17. He didn't play. You hope he can get back on the field for them because I think he's a difference maker. But they got no one at wide receiver. And I think Justice Haynes is a nice running back. Yeah. He's not a superstar by any means. So they've got a lot to figure out on that side of the ball. I think they're a really good defensive football team.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. Oklahoma wins 24-13, a night to remember. And I think just kind of closing this out, unbelievable fans today. Yeah. I thought the scene over at the North Oval this afternoon for the live pod was unbelievable. Just the vibe around the program, the vibe around campus was one of those special moments that you're going to remember for a long time.
I wanted to ask you this because you're a little older than me, and you were also in college during some of the great years of OU football. Is that the best pregame atmosphere that you've seen, or can you compare it to any?
I can't ever remember a time where the student section, when I walked in 2 hours before the game, it was basically full. And you'll see the video right now. I got a little bit even before the players had come out for warm-ups. It seems like this is a campus right now that kind of gets it.
Yeah.
And they know how important a game like this was. They know how important the magnitude of everything that surrounded it with all the national eyeballs out there. It was just a kind of like a remembrance of, okay, I think they're going to be all right.
What about the tailgating scene, too?
It's awesome.
The North Oval, that's the best I've ever seen the tailgating experience in Oklahoma. And there's been a lot of, bitching and moaning about that over the years. I mean, you started a whole campaign to try and make it better. I thought that was unbelievable over there.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things that you hope that you can build off of. And here in a couple weeks when they come back and you have Auburn all of a sudden coming into the stadium, it just feels like this could be the start of something.
Yep.
But you obviously are going to have to do it, and you're going to have to do it week after week after week, especially when you get into conference play. So unbelievable night here over at the stadium. For George Stoia, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you here on Monday on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel, the Game Day Rewind, as well as a recruiting report. As George said, the stadium was packed with recruits tonight. It's going to be fun to see. I know Steve Wiltfong already has a story you can see on SoonerScoop.com about the immediate reaction of some of those big-time recruits here in Norman. Until next time, we'll just end it there. How about that? That's it. Bye-bye.